Hello, my name is Rachel F. Coley, and this is the Who Am I series. The purpose of this series is to provide exposure to John and Jane Does who were found in the United States and Canada. And we're going to kick this series off covering the case of the Rockwood Jane Doe. The Rockwood Jane Doe was found on August 28, 2005. Her body was partially decomposed, and it's believed that she died 2 to 6 weeks prior to her discovery. Investigators do not believe that she was sexually assaulted for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that she was found fully clothed, and the second reason is that her remains didn't give any indications of sexual assault, nor did anything found around her body. Unfortunately, due to the state of decomposition, investigators were not able to perform a toxicology exam, which definitely limited the investigation into who the Rockwood Jane Doe was and how she passed away. In addition, due to the state of decomposition, investigators were not able to determine the cause of death. However, they do believe that she died by foul play for a few reasons. First of all, she had been dragged 10 meters, which is about 33 feet, from the picnic area into the surrounding wooded area. Her remains were found laying between the trees with a sleeping bag covering them. That'll be discussed more later. In addition, the remains were believed to have been where they were found for about a month, which is inconsistent with the estimated time since death. So the Rockwood Jane Doe was a white female who was 25 to 45 years old. She was believed to have been 5'4" to 5'6" tall in life and of medium build, and weighed anywhere between 110 and 130 pounds in life. Unfortunately, due to the state of decomposition, investigators were not able to determine her eye color. However, they were able to determine that her hair color was a light to medium brown, but had recently been bleached or dyed to be a lighter color prior to her death, possibly appearing red, burgundy, or a reddish-brown color. The most notable aspect about the Rockwood Jane Doe were her extensive facial injuries, which included a broken nose, a broken left cheek, and extensive damage to her left eye socket. These injuries all resulted in a noticeable facial deformity because they had not been set properly and thus had not healed properly. It's also believed that these injuries occurred after the Rockwood Jane Doe turned 18. In addition, due to the fact that the injuries had healed prior to her death, it showed that they happened during her lifetime and they were not just post-mortem damage. Another very notable characteristic of the Rockwood Jane Doe is her low-grade, temporary, partial upper dental plate. This plate consisted of a left incisor and a left canine, and unfortunately, there was no serial number listed on the plate. And this is relevant to the facial injury because it's thought by investigators that the 2 missing teeth are a direct result of that facial injury. In addition, rib 7 was previously broken on the front left portion of her rib cage. Another very notable factor about the Jane Doe was that she suffered from severe arthritis, which affected her neck area down to her lower back. And this is believed to have been a result of trauma, such as a car accident, as opposed to a sign of aging. There were no tattoos noted on the Rockwood Jane Doe, although due to the state of decomposition, it would have been difficult for investigators to detect tattoos. Now, something interesting that I thought I would note in this particular section of the presentation is that the Rockwood Jane Doe is theorized to have recently immigrated to Canada from Europe prior to her death. And I'm speculating that this is because of the make of the dental plate or evidence of previous dental work displayed in her teeth. Now, one or both of those factors might be consistent with what was done in Europe at that time. There isn't a reason listed in any of the research that I conducted saying why investigators thought she had recently immigrated. This is just speculation on my end. In addition, her fingerprints, DNA, and dental records are all available. Certain personal effects found by her body include clothing that was made and purchased in the Montreal, Quebec area. The first item of clothing is a pink 725 Originals bra with 31 on the left cup, and the bra itself was a size 34B. This particular bra was sold by Walmart in the summer of 2005. She was also found wearing white Rivage intimate thong-style panties with a small bow at the waist. Her shirt was a beige Atmosphere tank top t-shirt with 1-inch straps and a round neckline, size 10 to 12, and her shorts were black illegal jeanswear corduroy shorts with 2 horizontal zippered front pockets and 2 back pockets with button-down flaps, and they were a size 9. The shorts were manufactured in Quebec and were sold in a store in Ontario called Giant Tiger. There was no jewelry or identification located next to or near the Rockwood Jane Doe, and there were also no shoes located next to or near the Rockwood Jane Doe. And this is quite suspicious because, as I mentioned, the area where she was found was wooded, and you wouldn't be walking around the forest barefoot. Also, a sleeping bag was covering the Rockwood Jane Doe when she was found. So the particular sleeping bag that was covering her was sold at Canadian Tire, which is a store similar to Walmart. The blue, navy blue color of the sleeping bag was manufactured until 2004, and the sleeping bag itself was in good condition. So the area where the Rockwood Jane Doe was found is a wooded rest stop and picnic area which runs along Highway 7 in Eramosa Township, which is between Guelph and Rockwood, which are both cities in Ontario, Canada. And just as a geographic reference, Guelph is located about an hour west of Toronto. So this rest stop has a semicircle gravel driveway lined with trees. Between Highway 7 and that driveway sit some picnic benches, and on the other side of the gravel driveway is a small but dense forest that backs onto large, empty farm fields. And as you can see in the picture, there is a memorial to the Rockwood Jane Doe at that rest stop that was placed there by a local religious group. Now, by all accounts, not only is this stretch of Highway 7 typically traveled by locals, but this particular rest area and picnic stop is also typically only frequented by locals. So that fact could help investigators shed some light on who murdered the Rockwood Jane Doe, if in fact she was murdered. So a prevalent theory found on Reddit is that the Rockwood Jane Doe may have been in the area to attend the Hillside Festival, which has been held at Guelph Lake since 1984 and is a mainstay of the city and a popular attraction for individuals all around Canada. The festival was held from July 22nd to July 24th in 2005, which lines up perfectly with the estimated time of death of the Rockwood Jane Doe. In addition, the rest stop where she was discovered is less than a 25-minute drive from Guelph Lake, which is where the Hillside Festival is held. Now, due to the fact that her extensive facial injuries most likely did not receive medical attention, it's been theorized that she was a victim of domestic violence, although it doesn't appear to investigators that she died a violent death, and it was theorized on that same Reddit forum that if one of her abusers had killed her, her death would have shown signs of extreme violence. It's also been theorized that the Rockwood Jane Doe died of a drug overdose. However, there's no way to confirm this theory because due to the advanced state of decomposition, investigators were not able to run a toxicology report. In addition, it's been theorized that the Rockwood Jane Doe was a sex worker who was dumped at that rest site by a truck driver. However, that theory doesn't seem plausible when it's taken into account that that particular stretch of Highway 7 and that particular rest stop were only used by locals, or mostly used by locals. However, in tandem with this truck driver theory, it's postulated that she was either murdered by the truck driver or she overdosed in the truck driver's company and he did not feel the need to seek the proper medical attention and just dumped her body at a convenient and hidden spot. There's also been a lot of speculation about who the Rockwood Jane Doe was in life. In addition to the other theories from that Reddit forum, a woman who had previously been an exotic dancer in Montreal said that she knew girls who not only danced in clubs in Montreal, but who also danced in clubs in Guelph. And based on the circumstances of this case, she strongly felt that the Rockwood Jane Doe was an exotic dancer who had had a difficult life. It's also been theorized that the Rockwood Jane Doe was homeless or transient, and this is why no one was able to recognize her despite her very noticeable facial features. This is still an open case, and there's a cash reward of $50,000 for any information that assists in the identification of the Rockwood Jane Doe. The contact information for local law enforcement agencies will be listed in the description box and is displayed on screen. I hope that this presentation provided exposure for the case of the Rockwood Jane Doe and helps her family claim her and put her to rest. Thank you for watching.